Do you want to have a happier, more joyful, fulfilling year? I know you do. I know I do. And if you hate resolutions, if you hear the word resolutions or goals and you're like, no, not for me, I do not want to make them, but I do want to feel better, then I want to help you frame your year so you get more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. All right, and it's easy, and you don't have to do the resolution game, the goal game, whatever. It's just a different way of setting up your year so you can have more of what you want and less of what you don't want. So if that sounds good, let's have a listen. And for those of you I don't know, I'm Kelly Page. I'm a certified transformational health and nutrition coach, and I help women feel lighter in their mind and body, whether it's through diet or mindset or thinking about how we're gonna set up our year. Let's talk about it. All right, the first thing I like people to do when they're thinking about the year ahead or even the month ahead, even this isn't January 1st, let's say it's the first of the month, let's say it's the first day of the week. You can do this at any time. So here's what to do. Number one, think about your favorite memories, feelings, emotions, experiences from the last year, from the last month, from the last week. What lit you up? What made you feel good? What were you high energy on? Think about all the things that were your favorite experiences. You probably felt really good, right? Think about what those were and list those. List all of your favorite experiences. Now here's the best part. You don't just list, oh yeah, I love doing this, I love doing that. The second step is the most important step. This step is list why you liked the experience. What was it about the experience that made you so happy, that made you feel so good? Because what you want to do is recreate this feeling, because you don't necessarily have to have the exact same experience. In fact, you probably can't have the exact same experience, but you can cultivate similar emotions and feelings. So let me give you some examples. I'm going to give you some of my favorite experiences from this past year. Well, I'd say travel, but I normally get to leave the country a few times a year. I did not this past year. That's okay. Travel is something that lights me up. I'm always happy when I do it. So what did I do? I had a huge project this year where I framed all my favorite travel photos, and I made a big display in my hallway of all my favorite travel photos. Yeah, not the same thing, but I got to relive it. How often do you get to stop and just relish in some of the experiences you've already had? That's one thing this year has taught me, is we get so busy, we get so caught up in the next thing and busyness and planning and scheduling. Do we really enjoy what we've already experienced? So doing my photo project was a huge way for me to relive these amazing experiences I've had, and it filled me up, and I know I'm going to travel again soon. So travel, that was a big one for me. I love to travel because I like to learn things. I'm curious. I like to see different stuff. So I did virtual tours too. I got to go places without going to the airport, without leaving my home. So I found ways to have a similar experience without actually traveling. Another favorite experience of mine from this past year is learning. I took a bunch of classes. I am a learner. I love to learn. I'm always doing some continuing education in nutrition, in life coaching. I did meditation training this year as well. All of that stuff makes me feel good. It makes me feel expanded. It makes me feel like I'm growing and not just sitting still. So again, these are all examples of things that were my favorite experiences of the year, but that I'm mindful of. Like, I know I am curious. I know I like to learn. I also know I'm so happy when I'm in nature. And I made it a point every day after lunch, I take a walk. Sometimes I take a hike. I say sometimes because if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. You think about it, you're like, oh yeah, I should do that. And we just get into these routines where we do the same things over and over. Anyone do that? I know it was like one big Groundhog Day last year. But we got to get out of our comfort zone sometimes if we want to feel something different, if we want to experience something different. So really look back at your year and think about your favorite experiences and why. For me, I know I needed to connect with people. You know, this was an isolating year and connection was important. So I was on Zoom a lot. I was texting a lot and phone calls. Had a lot of coaching one-on-one with people, and all of that fills me up as well. So I make sure when I'm planning my week, my month, my year, that I put these things on my list because that's what fills me up. Now, the second part to this, in addition to your favorite experiences and why, you also want to think about what you didn't like. I'm not a big dweller in the past and what went wrong, but if you want something new, you have to do something new, and you have to make sure you're not repeating some bad patterns, some bad behavior. Now, for me, this past year, there were a few things that I just wasn't happy with, but I can catch it now. Like when I was feeling super emotional or a little out of control, I'd eat. Anyone with me on that? The eating thing? Trying to make yourself feel better? And I'd catch myself. I'm like, this isn't making me feel better. This is making me feel worse. So I'm really conscious on my eating because I just know that contributed so much. I mean, it contributes to everything. Obviously, it contributes to your physical health. And now more than ever, you want to keep your immune system strong. But my mental health and the spinning out, I mean, do you ever make a decision? You're like, why did I do that? And I messed these things up. So for me, food goes a long way. And on a similar vein is exercise. I know that when I woke up in the morning and I just wasn't feeling it, wasn't feeling like exercising, I would blow the workout off, and then I'd feel like crap the rest of the day. And that would lead me to eat poorly. And instead of beating myself up, I would just say, you know what? I don't want to feel like this tomorrow. I don't. So you know what I'm going to do in the morning? Or even if I recognize it later in the day, I'm going to go exercise because that brings me energy. It helps me make better decisions, food, mental, everything. So I know for me, food and exercise are two that I just need to stay on top of, and I want to stay on top of because I feel better. I work better. This works better. My body works better. I feel better. I'm more energetic. I'm more positive. So those are things I'm definitely mindful of. Another thing, too much news. Too much news would lead me to eat and not work out because I'd get depressed and a little sad about the news. So I know for me, I need to manage my news intake. Yes, I need to know what's going on, but I know when the border is now. I usually do. I can tell when I'm leering for it. I'm like, I just want to go to the fridge right now. I'm like, oh, okay, that was too much news. And likewise, too much social media, too much scrolling. Do you do this? And then you play the comparison game and you can't believe so-and-so is going to Costa Rica right now. That's a tough one, right? Have anyone experienced that where you're scrolling along and your friends are doing things that maybe you wouldn't do and aren't doing, but you're pretty jealous they're doing? Yeah, that's hard. And that can then lead to the eating and the not working out. So I know that I really have to watch what I'm taking in. And that's everything from the news to the social media to the comparison game to food and exercise. It's all connected. And these are all things I work with people one-on-one in my health coaching on. We manage what you're eating. We manage what you're taking in. Because it's all connected. It's all related. When one goes down, the other one can go down. But easily, one comes up, the other one comes up. When you start managing your mind and your thoughts and your stories in your head, you're going to make better food decisions. You're going to want to exercise. So I hope you find this way of looking at your year or your month or your week helpful. I mean, you can do this every Sunday. Okay, what felt good this week? Oh, I made this good food decision. Oh, I exercised more. I wasn't on Facebook as much. I feel so much better. So just take inventory, what's working, and when you don't feel as well. When you're not feeling as well, try not to, repeat those behaviors. This sounds super simple, but do you do it? Do you take realistic inventory of what's making you feel good and what's bringing your energy down? And think about how you want to feel this time next year, this time next week, this time next month, this time tomorrow, end of day. This is also a great exercise to do daily. When you wake up in the morning, how do you want to feel? What lights you up and what is going to make you feel good that day? And then when you go to bed, how did you do? What made you feel good? And what are you going to drop tomorrow because it didn't work for you? So if this is anything I just discussed, if you need some help with your diet, with your mindset, getting a program together so you can feel good in mind and body, you can click on the link. I have more information on how you can work with me one-on-one. I have a few private coaching slots that are available now because I'd love to get you feeling good head to toe so you can crush your year, your week, your month. All right, I'll see you all soon. Bye.